Feminism is a scam. Feminism is a scam. I do not want to be independent. I want to be so codependent. I need my husband. I want my husband. I want to follow his lead. That's how God created me. He created me in a way to follow. He created me as a helpmate. He created me as an opposite to Adam, right? If women could be a woman, if women acted like women instead of men, because they're acting like men, we'd have better men.
Feminism is the worst thing that ever happened to women. Our job used to be no job. We had it so good. We could have done the smart thing, which would have been to continue playing dumb. And then all these women had to show off and be like, we could do it. We could do anything. Bitch, shut up. Don't tell them the secrets. They ruined it for us. Now we're expected to work. When I hear the phrase double income household, I want to throw up. A lot of women get very upset with me about those comments. A lot of my friends, when we walk around together, they'll get very judgmental about housewives that we'll see on the street. And they'll be like, look at that fucking housewife not doing anything. Look at that housewife just walking around all day, getting massages in her Lululemon pants. Like, that bitch is a genius. She's not a housewife, she's retired.
I don't want a job. I don't want to be a corporate girly. I don't want to climb the ladder. I don't want to be a boss babe. I don't want to do any of that. I don't want to be the breadwinner. I do not want to do that. You know what I want to do? I want to be home. I want to be cooking in the kitchen. I want to be cleaning. I want to be shopping. I want to be making brownies. I want to be cooking dinner, making homemade meals every night, almost every night. I want to do all the things. I want to welcome my future husband home from work with a big bear hug and a, hey, you ready for dinner? Dinner's on the table. I want to watch movies with him every night. I want to send him off to work in the morning with some nice, freshly baked muffins. I don't want a 9-to-5. I don't want a job. I don't want to work from home. No, it's not for me. I don't want it. It's not, I reject that. My future husband's going to be the breadwinner. He's going to bring in the dough. He will be raking it in. And I'll be right there cheering him on as I go buy 17 decorative pillows for our bed. Okay? That's the life for me.
This is the trap right here. She rejects the work, but wants the results of the work through a man's sweat. There's no mention of peace, respect, or actual building, just muffins and decorative pillows. It's a fantasy built entirely on a man's exhaustion. When the money gets tight or the reality of service sets in, she'll be right back to calling him a controller for asking where the dough went.
I really blame feminism for the state of our dating culture right now, and let me explain. After second wave feminism, we saw a lot of these traditional gender norms break down where women did not want to be treated in that way, and instead they wanted to be treated more like men. Then you get into hookup culture, where it's like there's none of this courting thing instead and men chasing after you and that you're a prize to win. Instead, you're just like a man, you behave like a man, you go out, sleep with a man. It's that transactional casual sex that we've talked about so much in this podcast already. And then you go about your ways. And this has destroyed dating culture in every way because one, no one knows where they stand with each other. There's no rules that you fall into because it's all up in the air. Chivalry is dead because that apparently is, patriarchal to behave in chivalrous ways. So I think men have kind of abandoned chivalry. In turn, these women, I think, are just left so empty because they're going around hooking up. There's all these situationships where who knows where you stand. A lot of women, I think, feel pressure to have sex now with men because of this feminist movement that men now expect that. And then they do, and it's like you're damned if you don't and you damned if you do, because a lot of men now expect you to have sex with them on the first date. And so a lot of women then will fall into that. And then they're no longer interested in you because biology says, oh, this woman's, easier to get. And now I want someone that's not a wife that I want. And so it's just thrown these dating standards and this dating culture up into the air. And there's just, I feel really thank God you and I are married, because I feel a lot of people make jokes about this. Getting married in the 2020s is like getting on the last chopper in Nam and flying away, because it's a disaster. Everyone I talk to, it's like, I just don't think there's, it's going to be a difficult thing to fix. And I blame feminism. And these men have abandoned all of the chivalry and all this stuff because they just see a bunch of these feminist women and are like, well, why am I going to be traditional if women aren't being traditional? So it's just been a complete collapse and breakdown. And everyone's unhappy because of it.
I just think that we've seen the other side really blur the gender lines a lot. And so we're seeing the effects of that now. I go online, I see photos of women on their hands and knees proposing to a man now. They're embracing paying 50-50, and it's like you're not even incentivizing these men to treat you properly. And one of my favorite videos is a Christian Walker video where he's like, men used to have to show up to your dad's house with a bunch of goats, with lambs, with horses, with land, and properly ask her father to marry them and to argue their case. And now we have men who aren't even offering to provide. They're not even offering to pursue you in the way that you deserve. And so we're obviously seeing the breakdown of this, where people don't want to have boyfriends or girlfriends because there's just such a divided culture in that regard.
Nah, bruh. Notice how she's tight about women proposing or paying 50-50 because it doesn't incentivize men to treat them right. Translation, they lost their leverage and they're panicking. They're crashing out because the boss babe lifestyle turned out to be a lonely desk job and a split utility bill. Don't let the soft voice fool you. They just want the 1950s lifestyle with 2020s boundaries, and that's just another hustle.
The feminism movement didn't unite women, it split women. In many ways, women were historically, for millennium, the caretakers of a community, the community leaders. They would check on the elderly. They would feed the poor. They would take care of the children, right? So what happened is that we took them out of their caretaking roles, and it was like taking a keystone species out of the environment. Much of the environment degraded and shriveled up. And that's why we're seeing such a rise in mental illness. Women aren't going to check on their neighbors anymore. They're not feeding the poor at their local church. They're really preoccupied with making money and materialism and the GDP and a world in which they are no longer caretakers. Now, not everybody's meant to be a caretaker, but the point is, once we lose that linchpin.
It's wild how they sold this as freedom to a whole generation. They convinced women that nurturing a home was oppression, but working 60 hours for a corporation is empowerment. Now they're stressed and lonely, realizing that the materialism they chased can't build a legacy or provide peace. They won the right to be as overworked as men, and now they're crashing out because the prize wasn't worth the price of the home they abandoned.
Breaking news, I am now accepting applications for a man because what do you mean it's 10 p.m. at night and I'm outside trying to put air in my tires? What are we talking about right now? What is this? The machine shut off on me and I can't turn it back on. I don't know how to get it started again. I lost the little cap for my tires. The air is just coming out of my tires, and at this point I'm just gonna buy all brand new tires because this is absurd. I don't want to do this anymore, so I'm gonna get back in my car and I'm gonna just pretend that everything's gonna be okay because I don't want to do this. I want to be a little lady.
It's sad to see that this is what it takes for some women to acknowledge a man's value, a flat tire in a dark parking lot. There's no appreciation for the man himself, only for the labor he can perform to keep her comfortable. She'd rather buy 4 brand new tires than learn a basic life skill, which tells you everything about the lack of accountability. They want the protection and the provision, but they still view the provider as a tool rather than a human being.
Now, the days of feminism being about equality are over. Okay, it's spiritual warfare disguised as empowerment. Let's talk about it. And guess what happened? When you remove God's order, chaos enters the home. We were promised freedom, but instead got rebellion. And the Jezebel spirit is alive and amongst us today. It has taught women to lie, manipulate, seduce men, use your power and control. Instead, it has taught women to emasculate men, to weaponize men's emotions against them, play the victim, and then turn around and call it power. And trust me when I say I'm all about making money. I'm very independent, but also traditional. And feminism has taught us that being a homemaker is oppressive, but yet being a slave, being a boss babe to a corporation is somehow freedom. Like, make it make sense. It's turned marriage into more of a burden instead of a blessing. And it's really actually crapped on the idea of what biblical masculinity is intended to be and what it should be. Feminism told us we would have careers, have freedom, independence, sex. Meanwhile, we would lose the most important things: family, peace, order, and purpose. And never forget, Jesus is King. Have a great day.
This is the price of the I don't need a man movement coming due. They devalued masculinity and turned marriage into a contract instead of a covenant, and now the community is feeling that chaos she mentioned. It's a tragedy because they were told they could have it all, but they ended up losing the things that actually matter: peace and purpose. You can't build a legacy on independence alone when the foundation is built on emasculating the very men you need.
This world has changed so much. We as women are so independent now, and that's okay. But it's also okay to need a man. I need a man. I need a man to wash my car. I need a man to help me go get my car fixed, get my brakes done, pump my gas, take the groceries in the house, rub on my booty. I'm tired of being independent, and I want to be independently dependent.
It's the same old script, a long list of what the man needs to do for her, but not a single mention of what she's bringing to his life. She wants the car washed and the brakes fixed, but what is she doing to protect his peace or support his vision? It's disappointing to see that even when they admit they're tired of the strong woman act, the mindset is still entirely transactional. They want a man to be a tool for their convenience, not a partner to truly respect.
Why did I divorce my husband? I divorced my husband because I was making a certain amount of money. I divorced my husband because I thought I didn't need him anymore. I divorced my husband because I had this senior position at work and thought I held the same position at home. I divorced my husband because I thought I was better than him because I had my degree now. I divorced my husband because I thought a successful marriage meant I was here and he was down here. That is not success. That's fucking sickness. I found myself divorced and out there looking for love in all the wrong places. Fucking this one and that one and that one and that one and this one and that one. And my body count going up and my value going down. I'm just going to call it like a TI is. All the while, my husband done found somebody else building a relationship and building a life with them. I should have stayed married to my husband. I felt like I was on this dark road with no street lights, pitch dark, and I couldn't find my way and didn't know which way to go. I felt lost. I felt like I was walking barefoot on that dark road with pebbles and hot rocks sticking my foot. I felt hurt. I felt alone because every time he and that one and this one and that one left my bed, I was alone all by myself. And which was supposed to be soft and comfortable for me, my pillow, it was now filled with tears. I should not have left my husband.
This is a heavy dose of reality for the I don't need a man crowd. She destroyed a marriage because she couldn't separate her professional title from her role as a wife. While she was out there fucking this one and that one, her husband was doing what men do, building a life with someone who actually appreciates him. It's a tragedy of her own making, but at least she's honest enough to admit her value dropped while his stayed steady.
Yes, I'm a former feminist and I came from a very dysfunctional family. I am a former feminist, and yes, I had bad issues. I am a former feminist, and I used to think that dress myself as a tomboy and having casual sex with multiple partners will change me in an empowered, free, and independent woman. I'm a former feminist, and I used to think matrimony and motherhood was like slavery. I am a former feminist and I unalived my own baby inside my womb because I used to believe that a child will ruin my career plans and my whole future, and I regret it very bad. Feminism is not about freedom. It's actually an ideological prison that turns women in political slaves. I am a former feminist because God made me a happy wife and mother and gave me a second chance. Feminism is an ideological trap. You don't have to be under a political umbrella to actually live, care, respect, and help the need, especially vulnerable women. You just have to practice Christianity and charity and love others as you love yourself.
I had to sit back for a second when she mentioned thinking motherhood was slavery. Imagine being so programmed by an ideology that you view your own natural purpose as a prison sentence, but a 9-to-5 is somehow freedom. It's a complete inversion of reality that leaves men without partners and children without a chance. She had to hit rock bottom to realize that the political umbrella she was under was actually a cage designed to keep her from her own peace.
Women, you have been lied to for decades through propaganda. To be very, very clear, transgenderism, sexual liberation, and abortion have nothing to do with women's rights. Calling these movements feminism is not only inaccurate, but it's dangerous, it's destructive. Feminism promised empowerment, but you know what it delivered? It delivered emptiness. It sold women the lie that children are burdens, that family is a limitation, and that fulfillment comes from self-centered autonomy rather than self-giving love.
It's wild how they suddenly figure out it was all propaganda only after the wall hits and the loneliness sets in. For years, if a man said that sexual liberation would lead to a miserable life, they pulled the hate card and called him insecure. Now they're getting on camera giving the exact same sermon we've been giving in the barbershop since day one. They really bought the dream that a corporate job was going to keep them warm at night. You almost have to laugh.
We gave up our femininity for feminism, and we got a raw deal. It started out as a way for our mothers and our grandmothers and our even great-grandmothers to have equality, equal pay and voting rights. All of that's good. I have no problem with that. But it has morphed into something else. Toxic femininity tells women that it's not good enough to just be a woman. You want more than motherhood. You want more than marriage. You want more than to be a homemaker. There's nothing wrong with those who work outside the home, those who go to school and get a college degree. I did it. But now we look down on women who want to stay home. They're called trad wives in a way that is derogatory. That's what toxic femininity bred. Women are told they can do anything a man can do. Fight in the street, fight another man. All these videos of women fighting men. What is up with that? You are not a man. It's all right to be a woman. It's glorious to be a woman. I'm glad to be a woman. But toxic femininity tells you that you got to go beyond being a woman. You need to put aside your charm, put aside your femininity, put aside your softness, put aside being selfless and caring for others. And things are terrible now. Families have broken up. People are miserable. Women who are single are miserable. Statistics prove me right. It's not something I just pulled out of my ear. People are miserable because they walked away from something that the Most High gave us and something He said was good. Am I saying everybody needs to stay home and have babies and never work and never vote? I'm not saying that, so let's not even jump there. I'm saying feminism has hurt us. It has destroyed families. It has women believing all kind of foolishness. Yes, foolishness. Argue in the comments.
She's spelling out exactly why the family unit is in shambles. Yet if a brother points out that they walked away from what was good, he's called insecure or controlling. They let propaganda convince them that caring for a family was slavery, and now they're sitting in empty apartments. It just proves that the good men were right to walk away when the disrespect became the standard.
Yeah, you heard me right. I am renouncing feminism. Now, before you react, hear me out. I am a 29-year-old single woman with no support system, no direction, no future really. And I'm in this position because of feminism. Like, feminism told me that I should go out partying and drinking, and that it somehow made me a whole empowered woman to spend my most fertile years hooking up with random strangers, when all it did is make me an alcoholic with no romantic prospects. And feminism, it turned me against men. It drove a wedge between me and the man that I love. And because it told me that I should emasculate him with my I don't know, masculine willpower and independence when I should have just trusted him to love me and take care of me, which is what men need to feel loved. And now I can't even go out and meet someone new because feminism told me that like all men are potential predators and threats. But the thing is, most of them aren't even like that. Feminism took away my ability to trust men. But only an insane person keeps doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So I am going to change my life, and I am starting by renouncing feminism.
Stay alert, because renouncing feminism is the new trend for women who realize the streets are cold. She's only changing her life because her current path has no more romantic prospects or support systems. Notice how it's still all about what she lost: her future, her direction, her comfort. It's another calculated move to find a provider now that the party is over and the bill is due.
Modern feminism is more about hating men than empowering women. You can advocate for female empowerment without being a man-hating Grinch. Just by talking about this fact, other women will call you a pick-me, or they'll try to tear you down. Quite ironic, isn't it? It is without denial that there are too many women falling victim to abuse. And it is without denial that in most cases, the male tends to be the abuser. But coming online and painting this image that all men are just pieces of shit is actually completely counterproductive. It doesn't help women get out of situations of abuse. It doesn't help women avoid situations of abuse. What does help women and people in general who are subject to abuse is to set the right example for them. Give them the right advice. Help them identify red flags. Help them be independent people and independent free thinkers. Give people, and women in particular, the confidence to back themselves. But the same females who are all about feminism are the same females that will tear you down if you don't agree with their opinion. It is very possible that these women are contributing to other women's lack of confidence. It's crap, because there are so many men out there who absolutely worship women, whether that's their daughter, sister, auntie, niece, partner, girlfriend, wife, whatever. You don't need to empower women by bringing all men down.
It's disappointing that common sense has become a controversial take in 2026. She's right. Bringing men down doesn't actually help a single woman avoid abuse or build a better life. It just creates a culture of resentment. By making man-hating the entry fee for the movement, they've alienated the very protectors they claim to need. The good men were right to walk away from this mess, because why would a man worship a partner who's being coached daily to see him as an enemy? Look, if we zoom out and look at this whole crashing out phase, the pattern is loud and clear. For decades, the propaganda machine sold women a massive bait and switch. Trade your natural influence in the family for a corporate badge, weaponize your independence, and view traditional men as the enemy. They let an ideology convince them that serving a boss is empowerment, but nurturing a home is oppression. And any brother who called out the manipulation or asked for accountability got hit with the hate card. But here's the reality check of 2026. The boss babe thrill is gone, the exhaustion is setting in, and now they want traditional protection without bringing any traditional peace to the table. Women are angry because millions of men finally see the truth and avoid these one-sided relationships like the plague. It took the dating market completely drying up for them to finally admit the good men were right to walk away. Brothers are choosing their sanity, leaning into financial celibacy, and just opting out of the game entirely. You can't burn the village down to feel the warmth of liberation and then make panic videos because the builders packed up and left. If you're seeing the play unfold and you're protecting your peace, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop your thoughts in the comments. We're keeping it 100 over here.